Okay, we'll just start with your gum chewing.
No mother what this week?
No, he's off. What is up, everybody? How you living? How you doing? It is episode 148 of the Sims and Lefkoe podcast. What type of gum are you chewing?
Minty gum.
Minty gum. You would never have bubblegum flavored gum.
Not this time of the day.
Oh, you certain times of the day require certain flavors.
Yeah, like the day's over, later in the day, man, I might stick a whole pack of Big Lee Chew in my mouth.
That gum, I know what it is too. That's like 40 seconds and flavors gone.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a headache after about 3 minutes.
Yeah, because it's just my jaw.
It's again, gum is one of those things my wife reminds me of all the time that we put in our body that full of chemicals. I mean, it's full of.
Yeah, like, what is it?
Right. Let's gum. Oh, my breath is better. Oh, where does it go when we throw it away in the garbage? Oh, we just stick it in the garbage, and I don't know what the hell happens.
Think about this. Think about walking down New York City, and there's just little UFO saucers of gum that was there from like 8 years ago.
Everywhere.
And it never disappears.
Al Capone chewed gum right here.
Yeah, and the only way it goes away is they come out with like a super blaster and like peel it up.
Right.
And can you imagine when people are like, oh, I swallowed gum. And you're like, ugh.
Remember when Lefkoe almost shoved your face into the Seattle gum wall?
Oh.
It's an all-time.
Wow.
It's an all-time video.
All time. That was disgusting.
Yes, I think they've taken
They've
it all
taken
down.
it half. Good
Yeah,
thing.
and
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Probably
Because
not sanitary?
Disgusting.
It cannot be sanitary.
Sims, you were so appalled. You were like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Because you're one of the bigger germaphobes I've ever
For a city that's got a lot of great things, and I love Seattle, and I mean, hey, you can smoke weed and walk around the streets. It's awesome. But the chew gum wall is disgusting, and it's not even a wall. It's like a tunnel.
I always wonder when
and
does
it smells like people's musty breath.
When does that go from this is disgusting to this is a landmark?
Man.
Because before it was a landmark,
It was just people chewing gum and.
there's a huge issue of people sticking gum on the wall, and then the next day it was like, yeah, this
breaking news.
This is our staple: Space Needle chewed gum.
Ugh.
We have a ridiculous show today. Sims has given me his notebook. We're going to dive into what actually happened in the Wildcard games, all 4 ones. We are going to look at some of the coaching movements and front office changes. I mean, Seattle and Green Bay. This is what we wanted.
No.
This is what we wanted. We wanted new coaches. I just don't think they gave us what we wanted. And you're apparently in a feud with a possible future Hall of Famer. We're going to get to that in a second.
God, doesn't he know how poetically my dad talked about him last week? Isn't that funny?
The fact that we spent an entire segment talking about how Tony Boselli needs to be in the Hall of Fame, and then Tony Boselli wants to fight you the same week is unbelievable.
We might need Sims and Lefkoe Nation to come down to Florida with us for like an Anchorman style brawl. Everyone grab your pitchforks.
People. You better watch out messing with me. I know people.
Look, I'm getting a lot of Twitter messages that are like, if we need to fight Boselli, we
us
will do
know.
it. So hold on. We want to talk about NCAA championship game.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Alabama, Georgia, to put in a backup kid after halftime. Tua goes out there, and I went, wow, SEC quarterbacks can throw the ball. This is wild.
Right.
But to do that on that stage is borderline crazy.
I mean, kahunas of kahunas. To make that move.
Saban or Tua?
Saban.
Or both.
And both. You're right. But first, Saban. The fact that you go, we've been the #1 team in the country all year with this guy, #2 at quarterback, and the first half of the game didn't look good, so I'm going to make the move to a freshman quarterback. That was one of the moves of the century right there.
Wow. It makes me wonder why he wasn't in first, and I had heard all the rumors that he wanted to transfer, but that was the reason I picked Georgia, because Hurst couldn't throw, and Fromm could, and then, I didn't know the backup was the next coming of Russell Wilson. Right,
I know. And the best is Saban at halftime, too, because, I love Saban. Saban's like a more exciting Bill Belichick, right? You know you're going to get like this direct, boring answer, but Saban's not boring because he's so matter of fact.
It's because he's in college, and college coaches are the emperors.
Yes, you're right.
There's like Belichick still has to answer to some people. There's no one bigger in the state of Alabama than Nick Saban.
He's the man. You're right about that. I mean, I went to the Senior Bowl a few years ago, and there's all these NFL coaches there, and Nick Saban got a police escort onto the field with the car. Like the car drove onto the field.
Just tearing up turf.
And they let him get out right there. And there's other Super Bowl winning coaches that are like, damn, I can't even get on the field, let alone that.
Unbelievable.
But that was an amazing game.
Great game.
The SEC once again, I'm amazed at the physicality and the size of the SEC in general. Those two running backs, especially Sony Michel. I mean, whoever's recruiting running backs at Georgia, they got it.
It's like Jaguars wide receivers. For Sony Michel to stop on a dime and tightrope down that sideline.
He's special.
Very.
And your dude from Philly is special.
Oh,
Kid 7?
DeAndre Swift.
Yes. He's going to be a star.
It's unbelievable how they just pluck whoever they want all over the place. Your man Gruden, let's do some coaches before we get into some numbers. Your man Gruden's staff has come out.
Yeah.
Defensive coordinator Paul Gunther, special teams Rich Bisaccia, offensive coordinator Greg Olson. I went, Greg Olson?
Yeah.
Greg Olson was the Raiders OC when Carr first started, then went to Jacksonville, got fired because Blake Bortles is his quarterback.
Right.
And then he was just the quarterback coach with the Rams.
Yes.
But it just seems like it's the gang getting back together from Tampa Bay.
It is. I think that's exactly it. And it's people Gruden trusts. Those are people that also love Gruden.
Yeah.
I have a great amount of respect for Rich Bisaccia. I think he's one of the best special teams coaches in football. And I really like Greg Olson, too. Greg Olson was one of the better coaches I was ever around.
He was.
And he is not afraid to, he just got a good way about him. I think he's perfect for Gruden because Gruden can be brutal and mean
Gruden's
and
calling the
demanding.
plays.
Right. But Olson could be the guy in the quarterback room to be like, okay, I mean, I know he's a little crazy, but let's be realistic here about what really happened. Don't worry, he'll be the calming voice, which is nice.
Terrell Austin's going to replace Gunther in Cincinnati, which is a great hire.
Great hire.
Marvin Lewis, Terrell Austin, Baltimore Ravens lineage back together.
Right.
Eric Bieniemy becomes the new Chiefs offensive coordinator, former running back
Good
coach.
for him.
John Dorsey hires Elliott Wolf as the Browns assistant GM. So now you have the guy that built the Chiefs and the new up-and-coming guy from the Packers going to the Browns.
Right.
So they go from the Mets GM to like two guys, one that's a staple, one up and coming. Pretty good for the Browns.
Pretty good. I mean, Dorsey's got Green Bay background too, so it all fits. I mean, it's amazing that little, Green Bay West Coast relationship. I mean, those are all Kansas City people, the Eagles, you guys.
It's all incestual.
The Seattle Seahawks. I mean, it's all that same group and regime that they recycle each other. They got a process.
All right, before we get to Seahawks, Panthers, and Giants, I want to do 48. Let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
48's in the game right now. First of all,
nothing.
Rutgers?
I got nothing, and I don't want to waste any time if I don't have a good one.
48. I always go to the first.
I don't.
I appreciate you.
Oh, but you know what we can talk about? My man Steve Peichel got a contract extension today. He will be the coach of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights basketball team. We don't know the terms of the deal yet, but this is a big deal.
Did you know that was the name of the Rutgers coach?
I did. I wouldn't have been able to call it offhand, but when he said it.
What was the little school he coached before he came there?
Stony Brook.
And they had some run.
Right.
Well, yeah, and they beat Rutgers last week in December. Rutgers lost to Stony Brook and Hartford back-to-back last week in December.
Damn.
Totally fucked the season up.
God.
Damn. I mean, that's tough, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
I would appreciate some more genuine emotion.
I could give two.
Okay.
Yeah.
48. That's fine. Move on.
I always go to my dad's old team first. Kenny Hill, great safety for the Giants, number 48. That's the first guy I think of. 48, Von Bell right now, right, with the New Orleans Saints.
Had a big game.
He did. Let's see. Another 48s. Man, I know I'm going to miss some obvious ones here, but I can't think of any other ones.
One offensive player, tight end Marquise Gray of the Miami Dolphins. 4 guys you might not know. 3 guys you might not know. Baltimore linebacker Patrick Onwuasor. Cleveland linebacker Jeremy Cash. Kansas City linebacker Terrence Smith. Giants linebacker Akeem Ayers. Green Bay linebacker Joe Thomas. Let's see if you can get these. Denver Broncos.
Oh, Shaquille Barrett. Damn, good job.
New York Jets.
Oh, it's not Jenkins.
It is Jenkins.
Okay, sorry.
And Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, Bud Dupree.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good 48.
All times, Cleveland running back in the 60s, NFL champ Ernie Green. Let's see if you know these. New York Jets safety, early 90s, last name Washington, first name.
Oh, gosh.
Brian
Washington. I wouldn't have got that.
And then a cornerback with a 15-year career from the 80s and 90s, Oakland, Rams, Denver, Lionel Washington.
Oh, man.
One of our favorite fullbacks was in here recently.
One of our
Cowboys.
Oh, Moose. That's right.
Darryl Moose Johnston.
Yeah,
was
he's
48.
probably the most famous 48 there is.
Philadelphia a safety in the 80s and 90s.
80s and 90s. 48.
Wild Wes Hopkins.
Oh, my gosh. I thought he was 46. I would have never got that.
Really?
So
I thought he was 46, too.
Man.
No, that was...
Herm.
Herm Edwards.
Right.
San Diego safety a little bit recently, Terrence Keel. And then I think my favorite 48, Stephen Davis.
Oh, he was.
Running back for the Carolina Panthers and Washington Redskins.
Stephen Davis is one of those guys, my rookie year, the first time I saw him, I was like, he was definitely in the holy shit category. Like, holy shit, he is big, and holy shit, his feet are good. Like, he was one of those guys.
He had like 4 years at a 5 where he had like over 1,300 yards rushing.
He was really special. Who was the one right before Stephen Davis?
Terrence Keel.
Oh, Terrence Keel, my old, Texas A&M player.
Texas A&M.
Right.
NBA, Nazir Muhammad wore it for 3 seasons. Major League Baseball, Torrey Hunter, Pablo Sandoval, and your favorite middle reliever, Phil Koch.
Oh, good old Phil Koch.
Love him.
Love him.
Great. All right, so we always do, before I get to the coaches, we're going to do something about Kyle Shanahan, our favorite coach in the NFL, amendment number 2. Seth Wickersham, the one that reported that ESPN story, was in a phone interview and expounded on Kyle, saying, when Kyle got the Niners gig at the Combine, he met Bill Belichick. They didn't know each other, and I think they met to talk about the Super Bowl. I think that's a very difficult for someone to lose a Super Bowl and then go visit a person who helped engineer that. I think that showed Belichick a lot. It made me want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
How has Kyle handled mistakes in the past? Is he someone that's been able to go, I can learn from this? Or has he been an ego person that's kind of been like, that was my players and execution?
No, he is. It's the great thing about Kyle is he's extremely accountable. He really is. Now, he might explain a reason why he did something to go, like, I did this because I was scared of this, but I still shouldn't have done that. I was wrong. Like, he's very good that way. That's why he is where he is. He's smart enough to realize he doesn't have all the answers, and he's willing to learn and do it. And I think there's always a Shanahan-Belichick respect factor, even with Mike and Bill.
The article talked about Mike Shanahan and how he always did well against Belichick.
He did, and Bill was a pain in the ass to Bill, and I can still remember the story when they lost to them in the 2006 playoff game. Remember the game that Champ Bailey returned the 99-yard touchdown interception, got tackled at the 1 by Ben Watson? Right. After that game, I can still remember the Shanahans telling me and knowing that, like, Belichick after the game came over to find Mike Shanahan in the locker room after the game to talk ball, to kind of ask him questions, things like that. So,
I feel like at the Combine, Belichick is this guy that walks down the hallway and other coaches sort of go, I'm not going to talk to him unless he comes to me.
Yeah, which is not going to happen.
So how do you think the Kyle Belichick thing went down?
Because
I'm sure being called in to talk to him, you're kind of like, holy crap, I've been chosen.
Coaches are scared. No, I bet you Kyle asked them flat
You think
out.
so?
Yes.
All
Bill
right,
is
well,
not as
Kyle
scary to people as everybody thinks he really is. Like, Bill would take the time, no matter what coach you are in the NFL, to come. Now, you're not going to find Bill in the bar like the rest of the coaches hanging out. You're not going to find any of the New England coaches doing that. They're different than the other 31. They're not there for, like, spring break hour. Like, oh, this is spring break, and we're going to watch a few guys work out.
I can put some brooms on the team tab.
Yeah, right. That's literally what the rest of the NFL is doing.
That's all the people that I hear that work in media.
Yes.
It's really great. You really get to meet, like, the 8th level scout at the local pub.
That's what it is. It's where
I don't know. If I were to go there, I'd want to talk to Bill.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of relationships and bullshit, and Bill is not going to make himself handy to those situations. Oh, yeah, any Joe Schmo come up. But if you're in that stadium, right, to watch the workouts, and he was walking down a hallway in Lucas Oil Stadium, yeah, if you went up to him and said yes, like, hey, coach, I'd like to, you got like 10 minutes for me?
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Kyle would go up to him. Kyle wouldn't care.
Just go up to him, get him on the podcast.
I just thought,
quick 5-minute interview, Bill. No big deal.
I just think it's funny, too, with Kyle and Bill. It's funny how when you're a young coach and you're called cocky and arrogant, but then if you start winning, now you're genius and focused.
Right.
And it's going to be very funny to watch with Kyle, who was the brat that couldn't get a coach.
Yes.
Now he's being endorsed by Belichick, engineering like the best second half in the NFL.
Right.
And now all of a sudden he's a genius with his finger on the pulse of what gets it done in the NFL. It's very funny.
It is. It's frustrating.
Yeah, but that's the way it is.
Yep.
Packers. So they finally get rid of their GM. They finally move on from their OC. They get a new DC too, and we're sitting there going, finally, Rodgers is going to get some help. They promote their director of player personnel to GM. Mike Pettin is now their new DC, and Joe Philbin is the offensive coordinator.
I know. I mean, Philbin's from there already right. I mean, that's where he came from. That's how he got
Rodgers
the job.
Aaron Rodgers already got him a job, and he lost that one.
That's my point, though. They don't know what they don't even know up there as far as...
It sucks.
I get it. The only thing is, I'll say this. I mean, they've obviously admitted that there was dysfunction in the front office because they've all said now that they're going to they're all going to report to Mark Murphy, right? For the first time ever. Why weren't they doing that ever before? Exactly right. It sounds like the Russ Ball guy, right? That there was definitely an issue there relationship-wise with Mike McCarthy, so he doesn't have to deal with that. So they're all, I guess, now finally going to get on the same page. They're making the comments that they're going to be more aggressive in free agency. So at least that's a good thing, certainly. I'm a little surprised they didn't go outside the building. I mean,
but then again, I'm not.
I know you're not. You're right. I thought this was going to be the time they were. I guess that's why I'm surprised.
That's why we were happy about the Seahawks and the Packers not making the playoffs. They're finally going to make a change. They're finally going to bring in some outside people, and they bring in these boring retreads. I mean, when you think of the least inspiring hire for OC, Joe Philbin's name popped up. Oh, but he's a human pinky toe.
I trust him. And he's a good worker. And that's what they all say. I trust him. I mean, I could tell him the sky's red, and he's going to go tell everybody it's red. Just what I want him to do because I'm a dictator. That's what they do.
After 7 seasons.
Mike Pettin, though, is a good hire.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Mike Pettin's
a good hire. He'll be a lot more disciplined.
Fucking A. Mike Pettin went 7-9 with the Browns. Fuck you. I mean, that's a Super Bowl win.
All right. It's just,
I'm not saying it to you. I'm just saying to all those people because I've heard the same thing. Like, Mike Pettin, yeah.
After 7 seasons, the Seahawks fired Darrell Bevell. Didn't think the day would come. We had people in our comments section and our mentions going, praise the Lord, it has come. Darrell Bevell has moved on. You know who's rumored to take the job?
Not Steve Sarkisian.
No. Okay. Well, no, Dan Quinn came out and said that's not happening. Tom Cable is the rumor right now.
Oh, my God. I mean...
Sims, this was it.
That's what I'm telling you.
This was Rodgers and Russell Wilson
because
finally
Tom Cable, I know, all the,
Because Tom Cable's probably talking shit about Darrell Bevell in meetings.
I agree. I don't know what it is, but, I mean, what can make you go, oh, Tom Cable, you've done such a great job with our offensive line the last few years. We need to promote you.
He's the only coach that's allowed to say injuries are a factor to keep his job.
You're pretty much right. You're exactly right. It's amazing how some coaches don't get that and some do.
I'll blow your brain.
Blow
Last one. So the Panthers, they fire Mike Shula and Ken Dorsey.
Yeah.
Do you hear who's interviewing for offensive coordinator with Carolina? Have you heard this?
No.
Norv Turner.
Oh, I'm not mad at that.
I am.
Why?
Because when you are an offensive coordinator and your head coach and Mike Zimmer comes in and goes, Norv, your offense sucks. And that offensive coordinator's reaction is, well, then I quit. You don't get to coach again. If you can't handle coaching and your response is, I quit, you're going to go down there and work with Cam Newton? Hi, Norv Turner. Listen, I want you to look up 1995. I mean, we're still talking about Troy Aikman with Norv Turner.
I know.
His offense sucked in San Diego, and I know that you're kind of close with the family, and you're not going to say anything. That's totally fine.
No, it's not the reason why. It didn't suck in
Minnesota.
San Diego. It did not suck in San Diego. They were really good. But Minnesota has struggled.
Bad.
You're right. And I would question how much it will evolve or if it has evolved.
But these retreads,
it's
the same fucking names.
I know.
And I got my friend saying, hey, who's a good offensive coordinator for Russell Wilson? And I'm looking through all these things, and I'm going, oh, you know what? You got Matt LaFleur. That's an interesting name.
Right.
I'm looking maybe Joe Lombardi, but I didn't really like what he did in Detroit. I'm looking up these.
Your guy DiFilippo, I'd have no problem with him going to be an OC somewhere. I mean, head coach, no, but OC, yes.
And I'm just looking at these names, and it's these same guys, and they're bringing up schemes from 20 years ago. And Norv Turner's not adapting. He's not going to come in with a different playbook for Cam Newton. Run my playbook, Cam. No, you don't do that with a freak athlete that we haven't seen maybe ever.
No, I mean, I would like to think that Norv will still do some things that are going to be tailored around Cam Newton. Excuse me as I burp into the microphone.
I'd like to think that, too.
But I will say this at least. He does always have an aggressive downfield passing game that I admired, and that will fit Cam.
Giants, all signs are pointing to Matt Patricia being the man there. Kind of surprising. Kind of the reason why I thought Terrell Austin was going to Cincinnati was because we're hiring a defensive coach, namely Matt Patricia. But now it sounds like he's the favorite for the Giants.
I don't have any gossip for you there. I would love to, and I will. But, I mean, to me, the interesting thing that I thought of right away was, what happened between Bob Quinn and Matty Patricia? Or is it just the fact of, it's the New York Giants, and Matt Patricia's like, Detroit, everything's great, Stafford, Bob Quinn, awesome, but it's the fucking New York Giants, and I can't turn it down. That's the one thing I think
When Bruce Arians was talking about Nick Saban possibly going there, and he's come out today, apparently he said it was a joke. He said, look, it's the New York Giants. Growing up, that was the team.
Right.
And it carries a lot of weight.
Is the Belichick Giants stuff, is that real at all?
No,
you don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
I don't have any inside info. Like I've always told you guys,
pressure him.
I know I don't have an inside info of this stuff. I really don't. I know that
how Bill feels about the Giants.
Yes, I just know if there was one place he would ever consider going to, it would be the New York Giants.
And this is it. He's not going to get another chance to coach the Giants.
No,
the question is
probably
though,
not.
is he going to take the 5 years to build it up in New York?
Yeah.
He's always talking about he's got like 4 years left.
Yeah, I would think so.
Which doesn't make sense to me.
I think I said this a couple podcasts ago. I mean, the Giants were your Super Bowl pick before the season.
Yes,
so
they're not far off.
Does he need 5 years to build it up? It could be 2.
That's probably another reason why Patricia likes the Giants. You got Landon Collins.
The D's
you
there.
You got the defense.
Yeah.
Who is an OC that you think he'd look at if he did go to the Giants? I always go back to your Dan Quinn thing when he went, who was the OC that gave me the most trouble? Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah.
Let me bring him to Atlanta.
Yeah, it's a real. I got to think about
Maybe
that.
he's a Matt LaFleur.
I got to think that.
He wants someone more experienced.
He's going to want somebody, though, that he, like you said, he's going to know a good offensive coordinator. He's going to go, damn, preparing for this guy was a mother effer.
So I have a stat that goes to when we were ranting about box score bounty hunters, where they just look at things that don't matter. Hey, Sims, did you know that the Titans are 10-0 in games when Derrick Henry has 10 or more touches, and when he doesn't, they're 0-7.
Damn, what? First 10 plays?
First 10 plays.
Up the middle, win.
Give it right to Derrick Henry, game over.
Yeah, well, I know. Those stats.
When they rush for 20 times or more, they're undefeated. All right, first 20 plays, who cares? We'll run the ball, automatic win.
Right. So what's the correlation of that stat? Okay, so to put that in realistic terms, yes, when they're running the ball well, and whether it's Murray and Henry, and they're just striking off 5-10 yards after each other, yes, those are the games Derrick Henry gets more touches and they end up winning the game because they were running the ball well already.
Yes.
But at the very least, man, he's a special player.
He really is. DeMarco Murray is officially out.
Is he?
So that means
another good
you're going to
thing.
say good.
Good. I mean that with all due respect to DeMarco Murray. I really like you, but
it's more for malarkey.
Yes, it is.
Don't think about it. Play the big man.
Well, I mean, you just from the game, it sounded like on Saturday, right? I mean, it's again the coaches drive me freaking crazy. Whether it's the recycled coaches, I trusted him. I worked with him 30 years ago, and he was good every day. I mean, or the third down. Third down. I don't know if they'll know that he's got a point. He's got to block the linebacker that was to the left of the quarterback. The point. He messed it up once in August, and I can't trust him again the whole year. I mean, that's what they do.
It is funny. The number one reason that they always say they're playing a less talented running back is because he's better in pass pro on third down.
Right.
It's like quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks. He knows how to get out of the huddle.
Yeah. Right.
It's always the thing that they say.
It's always the same thing. It's always. I mean, we're going to start Chris Johnson over David Johnson because third down, he's a little bit better. Okay, have fun with that.
The current favorite in Vegas to replace Gruden is Peyton Manning. I would bet against that every day.
See, people got to get over this
so much money.
Yeah, they got to get over this old theme of like ex-quarterbacks are gonna be announcers. That's done. My dad's generation's the last generation is gonna do that because they didn't make that kind of money. Peyton Manning has a better chance of buying ESPN than he does working for them. Are you kidding me? Like the first time a producer in ESPN's going like, Peyton, we're going to show this. He's like, well, that ain't right. That's not what they did. See, what they did was as Omaha Blue go, and then they went this. And he's not going to listen to that crap.
Like you saw the video that we put on Instagram of Spider 2Y Banana, and you hit up Fendrick and said, technically that's not...
a Spider 2 Buckeye, okay? There's a difference. Come on, Instagram and Bleacher Report. Know your fucking Gruden plays.
I was like, I don't think our Instagram audience is really going into the route tree to tell the difference.
So you looked at the play.
I said the play, that's not Spider 2 Banana. That's Spider 2 Buckeye. What the hell's he talking about?
By the way, I'm watching the Jon Gruden press conference, and the first thing that popped in my head was, what does Jon Gruden ask for when he sits down in the barber chair? Like I don't need a part in the middle. I kind of need it parted here, but it's not a part. I just want my hair to fall.
Have you seen Lloyd Christmas? I'd like to look like him.
No, I don't even think it's that. I feel like it's
the hair is he just doesn't give a damn. And he's got that kind of hair anyways.
I don't know what it is.
It has a part, but it gets messed up as the day goes by, and he just doesn't even care. He just lets it go.
Yeah.
It's just that it's like my dad kind of has that hair.
Don't insult your dad.
No, I think if my dad probably puts product in his hair to get that cool comb over.
But Jon Gruden and Mark Davis sitting together, I was like,
what a hair dye.
Guys, we got to take care of this. Let me send you down to Sims's $400 haircut.
$100 million, you can afford it.
That would be really funny if you texted him a good barber.
It would be.
He would. Do you think anyone ever talks shit about Gruden's hair?
No.
man.
No, that's probably someone. People are
I'd say,
scared.
yo, Gruden, spider 2 wide banana your ass over to the barbershop because you look like ass. All right, so let's talk about Tony Boselli.
Let's.
Sims has been going on the Dan Le Batard show every day for what seems like a month now, and you'll be doing it for 49 more days as they heard your quote, whether it was here or also on Dan
Football Talk.
Dan Patrick.
Or Dan Patrick, you're right. That's
And
what it
that
was.
you said Blake Bortles was the 70th best quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
And we've been saying that now for about a year.
Yes.
And it's been accurate the whole fucking time.
Right.
I went back and just watched your draft video where you gave Bortles an F. You didn't give him an F minus.
Right, an F,
but you
okay.
did say, I don't know if he's a real thrower, but his one skill is running the ball.
Right.
You said it when he was drafted.
Right.
Miller gave him a D. So you guys were both on point.
Yeah.
Well, you go out there yesterday, and Tony Boselli, who we just talked about, hears it, apparently is friends with Stugatz, and gets so angry that he feels the need to call up, and you guys have a little spat right there on the show. I am going to play a clip from their show today. They said before that you're doing a lot, they're not paying you, so they probably owe you a favor. Well, I'm just going to play your show, and that's the favor.
That's the favor.
That's the favor.
We could talk that out with Dan. He'll be cool with
This
that.
is fair use.
Le
Yeah,
Batard's
fair
cool.
use. It's parody law.
Right.
Parody law. So here is Tony Boselli and you going up and back for a minute on the show.
Jag just went after Sims.
I think after your stupid comments, I might know more about quarterbacks because guess what? Dave Caldwell isn't making the decision, idiot. It's Tom Coughlin. He's in charge
Unnecessary.
down here now.
Wow.
So what do you say
he was
about
a little
that?
stuck.
Take that. You put that in your pipe and smoke it. Whoa!
I don't know if that was a shot or
Listen,
not.
I'm not
I'm
going
on-
to mess with you, but that's just the way I feel. I studied this hard, but I can also tell you that most of the coaches didn't want your job in Jacksonville last year either because they didn't want to deal with Blake Bortles either. So
His response here, I wanted Sims, I'd be like, give him the information.
coaches didn't want your job in Jacksonville last year either because they didn't want to deal with Blake Bortles either.
That's
so
true.
Just,
That's true.
and
guess what?
That's true.
And guess what? Most of those coaches are at home right now watching the playoffs as we play Sunday.
I don't know. Kyle
Obviously, you
Shanahan
better
did
watch
pretty
the film
well.
a little closer.
No.
My
I
goodness.
did, Tony, I mean, every quarterback in high school football would have
Love
hit some
this
of those
line.
throws last week. I watched it.
He's got Sims, are you sweating at all? Because I would not put Sims
I
on
will
this.
be sweating if I see Tony in person. I promise you I'll be watching it.
So I'm really hoping that Tony Boselli comes to the Super Bowl.
He'll be there.
We
He's
gotta
always
get him
there.
Is he?
He's always
Oh, it's
there.
going to be so
Why
good.
are you saying this with a little bit of fear in your face?
Sims is turning red.
Because he's a big fucking mean bucker.
Fendrick goes, let me see how big this guy really is. Types it in 6'7", 330.
Yeah, he's still 6'7", 315. It's like a natural. Like
After that,
it's
Le
nothing.
Batard said, listen, are you paid by the Jaguars? And he is paid by the Jaguars.
Yes.
And he was like, see, you're just here because you're paid to tell us that Bortles is good. So I realized there was a few things. He said earlier on, he goes, I watch it every day. Bortles isn't better than
I could have
Henry."
had so much fun. I could have
that line, I was like, well,
I
you
wanted
don't
to
know
be
what
like,
you're watching.
I really wanted to respond and go, damn. So you got to tell Chad Henne he's the 71st best quarterback tomorrow. That's what I wanted to say. I mean, damn, you got to see Chad tomorrow. Now he's 71.
Well, I wanted to say, like, you're the perfect example of someone that's too close to be objective.
Yes.
You know, you're there every day. And then when he said, Bortles, he finds a way to win. It goes back to your big thing about quarterbacking. It's not about what happened. It's what was available to happen.
Right.
And people are just thinking that Bortles runs because he
Oh,
has
he's
to
so
run.
good at it. He can run.
No, it's
Yeah.
because he's not seeing the downfield open receivers
Right.
and or
Right.
isn't capable of hitting
Yeah,
them.
he doesn't want to. And last week's game was the perfect example. And I could show you guys plays. I wish we could all sit here and the people listening could watch film with me. I could show you plays where receivers are open, but he's realized the 4 throws before that didn't go anywhere where he intended them to go. So then he can't. That's when you hear the phrase, can't pull the trigger.
Right.
He couldn't pull the trigger because he was just like, man, I don't know where this is going to go. Oh, there's a lane open. I'm just going to run. And that's what he did. So great. It was 88 yards, but I would argue he left 200 yards of passing on the field.
So what I've realized is I need to figure out how many Sims would it take to beat up Tony Boselli. We discovered earlier this year that it would take 4.5 Fendricks, I believe it was,
Which I would still debate.
To beat me?
to take you.
4.5? I thought it was just a plain old 5. And I don't
It might have
think
been a 5.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
I would
think
argue
so.
closer to 3, but that's for another day.
So 5 Fendricks for a Sims. How many prime Simses back in like your early Bucks days to take a prime Boselli?
Gosh.
First, let's get Fendrick to weigh in. How many prime Sims?
He's talking
take
prime Sims.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say Prime Sims 2.
Really? I was in more of the 3.5, 4.
I think
But
so.
more
So that
importantly,
means he thinks it was more.
Thanks.
How many prime Sims to take prime Bosellis?
I wanted to say 2. I wanted to
I
be
don't
like,
think so,
but
dude.
I know it might need
that
3.
first one's being cleared out.
Without a doubt. That's why I always say, like, Fendrick's 5. Like, those first 3 Fendricks are in deep shit. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and they're going to be out.
Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
right.
Boselli, it's like, brrr,
Just
that might
throw
be
you
4 right
across
there.
the room. Right.
He might do Juggernaut.
Dude.
Just brrr.
I don't really care about prime Sims versus Boselli
Yeah, what
because this
about
might
right
be a
now?
real thing at the Super Bowl.
True.
Like, how much heat
So
do I have to
old
pack
ass
for a radio
injured-
row?
You jump on his back and strangle him.
And then
okay?
you'll take care of
and
the
then,
rest?
Well, no, Lefkoe's going to have to help, too. But we're
Time
gonna,
out. Sorry, contract.
Lefkoe grabs a leg like Van Gundy on, like, Larry Johnson
See,
back
that's
in the
him.
day.
That's Josh. to a T.
I'm the leg
And
guy.
then-
Yeah, you're the small Jew
right,
that
great.
hangs on the leg.
All right, fine. You
Perfect.
choke him. You're right. You have a little weight on you.
Yeah,
That'll be
and
harder
then I
for
can
him.
bring him down.
Right.
Yeah, but like even right now, how many? I think you could beat him up right now.
I wouldn't.
If he got his hands on
I
you,
wouldn't
though.
be easy. I'm not like he's not going to go away unscathed. Like he's not going to walk away and be like we're not going to know we got in a fight. He's going to come around and look. He's going to look like he fought me. I tell you that much. But he might beat my ass eventually. Right now.
How many
yes.
Fendricks right now to take
Man.
on Boselli?
Man,
Gotta be double
We
digits.
need to find a Jewish tribe somewhere to get the Jewish Fendrick tribe.
He just comes around and Fendrick goes, assemble.
That's what I would need.
Oy vey! There's a big tackle here.
That's amazing. I realized this. The Lebitard show, you were just on Colin Cowherd. Sims is starting to become reputable, and I love it. It's
you.
a little monster that we've created.
Again, I couldn't have done it without you.
But here's
and
what-
Lebitard, I wouldn't be on without you.
But
so
here's why. But
you know
here's
that.
why it's happening. This to me,
Right.
you've seen 8 Mile.
Yeah, of course.
This is your final battle against the New World Order,
Right.
whatever it was.
Right.
Because you go out there and you go, I am white. I am a fucking bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom. This is everyone being like, remember it happened when you first got on. What do you know? You didn't do anything. Your
Right.
quarterback rating was this. And Boselli's like, the best thing you ever did was
Bleed out on the field. Right.
It's all of the bullshit's getting out of the way.
Yeah.
And now we're just listening to your content.
Thank you.
But what I'm realizing is you're in this awful quadrant of this is why people can't listen to you.
Yeah.
People will listen to Colin Cowherd's opinion about quarterback, even though he's never played.
It's a joke.
And if you threw a football at him right now, he'd wince. Like he'd flinch if you threw a football.
Right.
But then we'll listen to Kurt Warner because he won a Super Bowl. So we'll listen to those guys.
Right.
We'll listen to a PFF guy who's definitely never played
Right.
and uses it analytically, but maybe doesn't understand what's going on. You're in this awful quadrant of played but didn't have success by statistical measure,
Right.
and your dad played, so
Right.
people think that you only got a chance
Right.
because he was there.
Right.
You're in this weird cross section where people go, like Dan Orlovsky right now is on Twitter and he's commenting, and I'm going, Dan, you're going to have good things to say. Like you probably played your whole career.
Right.
All he's going to hear is, oh, you were on the 0-16 team and ran out the back of the end zone.
Right.
So you're in this former quarterback that wasn't good enough.
Yep.
And people all automatically write you off.
Yeah, it's weird. I know.
It is weird.
I know. I find it more funny though that the thing that drives me more crazy is the fact that who people will listen to. But I guess it goes back to just like, well, those people have opinions that they feel okay with. Where it's mine, they feel like I don't know what it is. They can't argue with me, or I don't know what
well,
it is
Fendrick,
either.
didn't your friend say something?
Yeah, I had friends texting me yesterday, and they were like, "We're listening to Greg Bedard on the radio break down film. Like he knows what he's talking about." And I'm just like, "What are his credentials compared to yours?"
Right, but they're going to listen to him. I
Right.
know. It's really weird. Even though that I was in a room with Jon Gruden for 6 years straight,
Yep.
and in a top quarterback in college football, and worked for Bill Belichick, and was in a room with Josh McDaniels for 2 years straight, and with the Tennessee Titans. But you're right. It's this weird thing in this media sports world right now where they almost want to listen to the unqualified. And I don't mean that man's unqualified,
Right.
but I'm just saying.
Because
like,
he is qualified.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if we're stacking up credentials,
Right.
we put your credentials on the
Yes,
board
right.
for evaluating quarterbacks.
And I'll also say this: when it comes to quarterbacking and the Blake Bortles 70th thing, the thing that people are still not grasping
Yeah.
is that you're putting Cardell Jones ahead of him because if Cardale Jones got to play for 3 straight years and was given the opportunity that Blake Bortles was, you're just talking about the ability and the talent.
Yes.
Not the experience, not the statistics,
Right.
none of that. Just if they had that availability,
Yes.
they'd be just
right.
there.
And really, in some of these cases, like Cardale Jones, if he played last week, he would have hit the 3 guys in the flat in the wide open curl route. So
Tony Boselli laughed when they said Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman had 1 pass in that game that was better than all of the passes that Blake Bortles had in that game.
I know.
But that's it.
know.
Let's call your dad, because now here's what we have to do.
Right.
I am the principal of the Sims and Lefkoe podcast.
Yes.
And you got into a fight at school, and you need to tell your dad that you got into a fight with Tony Boselli.
Does your dad know about this yet?
Probably not.
Oh,
Have you ever gotten
fantastic.
into a fight at school and they make you call your parents?
The last time I had to call my parents was when I got arrested for a DWI at Texas.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was not a fun
Mac
one.
Brown made me call my parents.
How did that go?
My parents didn't really care because they knew I was like a pretty responsible guy. But yes, I had a few drinks and I got in trouble at Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that
all there
makes
is to it.
sense.
Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Another phone call to dad.
Right.
You know, I didn't think it would get to this point, Chris.
Right.
But, I can't have Big Phil sitting at home not knowing that his boy's in trouble.
He just heard about the Le Batard thing last week, so I can promise you he has no idea about
Are
yesterday.
you at all nervous right now?
Not at all.
This is the best.
We might need Phil to stay at Radio Row with us as backup.
How many Phils to take Boselli right now?
Oh, Phil can still squat and bench.
Yeah.
Is he there?
I feel like he is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what up?
What up,
I
Big
was
Phil?
just listening to see what you two. I guess it's just the way things are in today's life.
Yes, today's life.
420 used to mean 415. Now 420 means like whenever.
Oh, no, yeah, not in Millennial Bleacher Report
Yeah,
world.
we got shit to do, Phil.
You got stuff to do?
Yeah, you know what we got to do right now, Phil? Your son has to tell you something because something happened yesterday, and it's unbelievable. Here we were
Yeah, what
talking
is
about
that?
Talking about Hall of Famers last week, and Sims has something to tell you.
Adam wants me. He's playing the role of principal, Dad. So I'm calling home because I've been a bad boy. But I don't know. I don't know if you heard. I know I told you last week about the whole Blake Bortles 70th quarterback, and Dan Le Batard's been having me on.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yesterday during the show, and I went on to tell them my 50th quarterback, Tony Boselli text messaged the show and wanted to yell at me on the show live. So they brought him on, and he basically told me I was an idiot, and the only good thing I ever did was bleed out on the field, and all those good, warm, fuzzy things. But Lefkoe wanted me to tell you.
Your son
to
got
hear
into
that.
a fight with Tony Boselli.
Man, do you know he's 6'7"?
That's,
Oh my gosh! So you got in an argument about the Blake Bortles
Bortles.
situation.
right. He told me I was an idiot and all those kind of things, but whatever. It's the price of doing business sometimes.
Well, I didn't. It's funny you told me that because, whatever. I did know that a few minutes ago. Somebody texted me or whatever, and I said, "Oh, that's interesting." I said, that's an argument that I don't know if you want to get into with my son and whatever. So I kind of took up for you and my words.
Thanks.
But so he called into the thing and then yelled at you. Was he seriously yelling at you, like
Well,
really mean?
No. He was good. He was like serious in a playful way. Like I think he really does
okay.
think I'm an idiot and all those things. And I think he's basically saying like, how dare you speak about Blake Bortles like this? Which I understand. He worked for the Jaguars, and
Right.
I've tried to emphasize to people this is not an attack on Blake Bortles personally. I mean, I think you know where this came from. I mean, people were, Jaguars are so talented. What's really the issue? And I just got sick of going like, they're the best team in football and finding reasons to talk around it. So that's when I came out and just was like, well, he's the 70th best quarterback. And I just made a rough estimation because I think every backup quarterback's better than him too. So that would leave it to 64 quarterbacks, and that's where I came up with 70. All right, you don't have to comment on that part.
No,
but-
it's okay. The other thing, but did he say that the only thing you ever done on the field was bleed out? He said that?
He did
I
say
did.
that.
Yes, he did
Yeah,
say that.
yeah.
Don't get mad, Dad. Who cares?
It's okay if you get mad at your son.
No, I'm okay. I'm not going to get mad at it. No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Well,
Look, I was part of the campaign that Tony Boselli should be in the Hall of Fame, so there you go.
Wait.
are you going to change? Are you going to change?
Wait. Hold on a second. I have breaking news via the Chris Sims text messages.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
I have a text message from a 904 number, and I was like, who's 904?
Is it Tony Boselli?
It is Tony Boselli. Yes. Yes.
Is he going to fight you?
So, no. But he wrote this. The back and forth yesterday on the show was fun. You do a good job, even if I think you're dead wrong that Bortles is the 70th QB, Tony Boselli. So there you go.
Man.
Hey.
Do we have to delete the whole segment
That
before
is
this?
podcast magic.
That's hilarious.
That is great. Well, listen, of course I disagree. He's not that far down the road when you say that. But, look, it's hard. What do you say about Blake Bortles? We've done it all. We've said it all. He had a good run. When it falls, he had some weeks where they really took advantage of things. And then last week we're right back to where we were in the preseason when we watched him in the preseason when he couldn't pull the trigger. So I'll give him credit for this. It's like having the yips in golf. How do you keep going out and playing golf when you're afraid of putting the ball from 2 feet out? So he finds a way to work his way through it, and here they are in the divisional round of the playoffs. So that's the end of that story.
Here we were. I was going to ask Phil how many Chris's it would take to actually take Tony Boselli. What was the number we guessed?
I said 3. 3 was going to be I needed three me's to take down a Tony Boselli.
Yeah, what do you think,
I think
Phil?
that's a pretty good. That would be about it. Yep, it'd take 3.
Yeah.
Because he's arguably the best lineman I've ever watched.
Right,
So
right.
He's pretty good on his feet, and he's got arms that are really long, and he's got hands the size of your head, son. So
Yes.
those are big hands.
I know. I see him every year at the Super Bowl, and I am always like, man, you still look like you can play left tackle. I mean, that's the way he looks.
And of course, I'm not mad about this at all. Hey, he's a great guy. That's fun stuff. Good for you.
Thanks.
Awesome.
So what do we got today? What are we doing? I've already lost track of what I wanted to talk about.
What do you mean? You don't have something you want to talk about?
I have something for him.
What do you got?
All right, so Phil, we always do in their prime. Who was better in their prime? This one comes from my friend Dan. LaDanian Tomlinson or Marshall Faulk? Who was better in their prime?
That's a really good one.
Really, they're
That's
so
a great
similar.
one. That's great. LaDanian Tomlinson.
That quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's close. I saw more of him in his prime, doing their games and all that. So it's close. They're both great. But, man, LaDanian Tomlinson there for a while, he was like you couldn't tackle him.
No, you could not.
He was unbelievable. He was a little more power.
That's exactly
power
it.
to his running game than Marshall Faulk did. That's what would be the difference for me.
I think that's exactly the first thing that came to my mind. I think it's really close, but Tomlinson was better between the tackles. Tomlinson was like a true power back, yet that could do the things.
He's a big man who happens to be 5'10".
Right, exactly.
That's all it is.
Yes.
If he was, he's big. He's just not tall.
Right, square shoulders, big ass, big legs.
Absolutely.
Long arms.
Everything you'd want in a running back. He's the perfect size.
Right.
That's why when you see Derrick Henry, you go, wow, this doesn't look right.
Right.
Derrick Henry, this is a true story. He signs with Alabama, and one of the coaches laughed when they saw him up there because they saw how big he was. He was 6'4", 250 coming out of high school. And they said, wow, he's a running back. And somebody goes, yep. The first day he shows up on here on campus, he's going to be surprised when we hand him number 98.
And he's the new DN for Saban.
That's why they looked at him. Hey, we're signing a running back. We'll give him a couple of days at running back, then we'll put him over at defensive end. But they didn't, of course. We know the rest of the story. Pretty cool stuff.
When you look around at the playoffs right now, Phil, was there anything that you found surprising from Wild Card Weekend?
Ooh, surprising. I guess I was surprised. Let me think about it. Wasn't surprised about Jacksonville and Buffalo. We were on the show, and I said first 1 to 13 wins.
Yep.
And I never thought I would be right underneath it. But I really did think 13, 16 points was going to win the game. I think I was surprised the fact that the Los Angeles Rams offense didn't do more against Atlanta's defense. Now, taking nothing away from Atlanta, I thought they played really hard. Their speed was evident, and they took away some of the bread and butter plays away from Los Angeles. And then, Jared Goff just didn't have a great day throwing the football. When he had a chance to make a few plays, he didn't make them, and that was the difference. So that was probably the biggest surprise to me.
This is the first playoffs that you're not in the booth, and I'm just curious if you miss it.
No, I love what I'm doing.
Do you? Good.
I really do. It's no lie. I think, Christopher, have I ever said to you once this year, wow, I wish I was doing the game or anything?
People ask me all the time, and I don't even think I've had this conversation with Dad, but they go, "How's your dad doing? Is he okay?" And I want to go, I think he's happier than ever. I mean, because you've gotten
sitting in a dark room where, in depression. Well, I think I'll survive no matter what.
You get to pay attention to the whole league now. And the last few years, especially with doing Thursday Night Football, all you could do was focus on the games you had to do because it was a lot. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, and I actually got to say that this job takes more hours than it did doing the games. Because here I am today going, oh, my God, I got to watch this, I got to watch that, what happened, and I'm going to do all this, and most of the time I won't even talk about the game I do all the work for.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say 30 seconds, and it takes what, son? Adam, you do it too. It takes what? A couple hours? Let's say I'll do it fast. It takes me at least a minimum of an hour and a half to watch a game for real.
Right.
At least.
Right.
So sometimes you can do 3 of those, and it's worth 20 seconds on air.
Yep.
So that's the hard part, learning how to be judicious with your words and get in a point in a very short time.
And that doesn't even include reading all the press clippings, keeping up to date with injuries, looking ahead at matchups, checking out statistics.
Right,
you're just talking about watching the film.
He wants to go back.
First off, injuries, that's the thing. I started looking on that on Saturdays.
Me too.
And statistics, you know what I think about stats, don't you, Adam?
I don't. I'm excited to hear it.
I couldn't care less. I judge by my eyes. Listen, football stats, they're loaded with lies.
Right.
Loaded. And it drives me crazy that we're going to judge everybody. Oh, well, the red zone, they're really not very good in the red zone. And, hey, did you know when Dion Lewis runs the ball 20 times, the Patriots win every game?
Yes.
Yeah, Adam just read a stat like that
literally
about Derrick Henry.
There's a stat that says.
Oh, my gosh. What was it, Adam?
No. We were joking because I said when Derrick Henry touches the ball 10 times or more, they're 10-0. When he doesn't, they're 0-7. And I said,
well,
Sims.
Give it to him the first 10. Let's get it over with. Let's go home.
That's exactly what I said.
Hey, we can't turn the ball over today. I even said this to one coach once, and I know you guys heard. I said, Coach, just kneel on the ball every time you win. Okay, let's get it over with. I mean, if you don't turn it over, don't turn it over.
Right.
And hey, don't be a smart, whatever.
That's awesome.
But those numbers drive me crazy. Oh, when Emmitt Smith, I used to do it. I was at ESPN one year, working on it, and they would say when Emmitt Smith carries the ball over 20 times, they're 37-1. And I go, well, good. Then give it to him right away, and let's get this thing over with. And what are you talking about? I go, of course they are going to win when he has. That means they got control of the game, and their offensive line's destroying the other team.
Right.
That's why they win.
Right.
Phil, I was just checking Vegas odds, and apparently you're listed as one of the options to take over Gruden's spot on Monday Night Football. Is that a smart investment of my money?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Is he really on the odds there?
Yeah, he's like
there's a lot of
eighth.
things. We all have hopes about jobs and this and that. That is not one of my hopes. I don't think so. I was at ESPN in 1994.
Right.
Man, were you living in Bristol?
No, it was his first year out, and he went.
First year out.
He was doing the pregame show.
I'll bet you I did close to 100 shows that year.
Damn.
So it was a great indoctrination into the business.
Right.
I was doing the Edge NFL matchup show.
Ooh.
I was doing the Sunday show, the Monday night show. I mean, there was a lot of talking there going on.
Phil, I know you don't like stats, but I want you to know you're the first and best guest of the Sims and Lefkoe podcast. We appreciate you.
All right. I don't wait to dust me off. See you, man. Just
all right.
I'm so excited to see you at the Super Bowl, Phil.
I
can't even handle it.
Well, it looks like I might be up at the Super Bowl, so hopefully we will get together and have a chance to talk, and I can straighten you guys out in person.
We need it. Thanks.
All right. See you, man.
See you, Dad.
See you, brother. Man, got a lot of news there out of him.
He's so funny.
He's a fucking best.
I don't
so
realize I get
that
so much of me from him until I hear him talk in instances like this.
Oh
I
my
know.
gosh.
It's more apparent to me when I'm in this scenario.
Did you text Tony back?
I did.
What'd you say?
Yeah,
I just told him, like, all good. I said, you the man. I got so much respect for you. And I said, you have a free pass to rip my ass whenever you want. I don't care. I understand. I respect the fact that he's sticking up for somebody that he knows.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, it's cool. I'm down with that. And I think I always say to you, and I think Adam and I have talked about this a lot, but I do my best to have no ego in this job. I really try hard to take my ego out of this. I realize what I am, who I am, and I just don't give a shit what the rest of you think about me.
And I think what's really funny is I would say so many analysts do what Tony's doing and they make it personal.
Right.
I know him.
Right.
He's better than 70th. And you're going, I don't want to fucking know him.
Yes.
I'm only caring about the eye in the sky,
evaluation,
and
right.
it doesn't lie.
Right.
And that's rare these days. That's why I always say I don't trust scouts that went to the Senior Bowl because they shook his hand and they go, I'll tell you what, that Johnny Manziel, I think he's a nice guy. Like he came off real. You're biased.
You're tainted, right?
You're tainted forever.
Yes, right.
That's why when you're like, hey, we're gonna go to the Super Bowl, I'd hate to like offend people. I don't care. Like if we never meet anybody in person, sometimes I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because we can bring real honesty to everybody else.
Yeah.
Which is like the #1 comment in our iTunes comments is
You guys are honest.
You guys are real and honest.
Right.
It doesn't happen by accident. We don't care what people think. We're just trying to be real for everybody else.
Yeah, right.
MVP, it's already done.
It's over.
Carson Wentz. I just want to bring it up again.
One more time. Tom Brady's going to win, though.
Yeah, he probably
Yeah.
right.
Sucks.
Maybe Gurley, but probably Brady.
Yeah.
Especially when they go on a run after all this scathing
But the
report.
votes are in, though, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, the
Is that
votes
how
are
it
already in.
works?
They've already voted.
Okay.
And I also, the other thing, too, I wanted to get in our hall, like, all-pro, like, shit again.
So-
because there's who was the double position this year?
Well, no. Cam Hayward made the All-Pro team, but he didn't make the Pro Bowl
Right,
team.
same with Cameron Jordan.
Cameron Jordan.
And then there was some few people that
Darius Slay made
got
it.
votes for double position again, to where I want to go, listen, this is why some of these people should not
Yeah.
be voting for this. They don't even know exactly what position the guy
Harrison
plays.
Smith, I think, made All-Pro, but
Right.
he didn't make Pro Bowl.
Right.
It's just, I do value All-Pro more than Pro Bowl.
Without a doubt. And
But I
so do
also-
the players.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. So the MVP is finalized, but we do have 4 celebrations to try and compete with Golden Tate's People's Elbow for
Yeah.
the individual and the Steelers bench press. But these are all individual, but they're a little different. They're not all touchdown celebrations.
Okay.
So first one up is Mariota. Okay. Mariota is the second game in a row in which after a play, he's just going to stand there
Yeah.
and just kind of gloat and
Right.
just take it all in, which is so on Mariota.
Yep.
So the Mariota stand and pose. Next up, the Tony Khan quick pumps. Clap, 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 hump, hump, hump. Yeah, Tony
I sent
Khan,
that to you guys right after it
pump,
happened.
pump,
You
pump.
did.
This is Shahid Khan's son.
Right.
Or Shad Khan's son. Pump, pump, pump. It's just, man, that's a heck of a hump. New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara handing out airheads.
Oh, I saw that. I know. Looks delicious.
Where'd he get him?
I don't know. Well,
Is there a
apparently,
snack area on the sideline?
Well, there's little drawers of like
And I
full
think
of
the
gum
coaches
and
carry
stuff
'em,
like that.
too.
Yeah, it's all there available. I used to go when I sat on the sideline for a game. I might have gone through 40 pieces of gum a game. Like no joke. When I was the backup quarterback.
what was your in-game
Oh,
gum?
bazooka, double bubble. I mean, I'd have a cup of
Bazooka?
just, and I would
That's
literally
disgusting.
put like 6 pieces. I don't ever put one piece of gum in my mouth. Even with the mint gum I just had,
Yeah.
there was 5 pieces in my mouth.
Well, that's how you are with espresso.
And the
You're
same,
like, 1 espresso, I'll
Right.
take a 5.
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna drink one piece. I mean, I'm not gonna chew one piece of bubble gum. Like I want to like be able to blow big bubbles, and I'm gonna chew that shit.
Yeah, but bazooka, that's
Bazooka's
just a jaw.
amazing. The best
What?
gum there is.
When you were on the sideline, did you ever read a bazooka joke?
yeah.
You know what's funny? You know what you have in common with?
I used to-
In college, Teddy Bridgewater would stick 2 pieces of bazooka gum
Right.
in his socks,
Right.
and he'd eat them during the game, and he'd read the cartoons, and then he'd go out and play.
It's classic. I still eat bazooka to this day. I bring it home. The kids, they love it. Now they have this other flavor, but the original's the best. That and Big League Chew are the best
Big
gums
League
there
Chew
is.
is fantastic.
Yes, fantastic.
The last one, though, is Sean Payton in the locker room after the
classic.
game. Sean Payton. Hold on, let me just get that.
Can you believe that players are streaming live from their phones?
Yeah,
in
look at
locker
him. Look at him.
rooms
He's
after games?
dancing.
right?
He's like a half Macarena.
It's amazing we haven't seen more wieners and stuff like that in these videos. It's amazing, actually.
That's what you're on the lookout for?
Well, I mean, just the fact
happens,
I
you know?
did right.
It's a fact of
Guys
life.
are
It's a
walking
locker room.
around naked. Yeah, it's just amazing that hasn't been caught more.
Best of the wild card weekend. Mariota's pose, Tony Khan's humping, Kamara handing out airheads, or Sean Payton's Macarena dancing.
I mean, the quick hump is like the funniest, but Sean Payton wins.
Sean Payton.
Yeah, Sean Payton. And you don't see NFL coaches do that a lot. That's a college coach thing, right? To where, we're going to look cool on Instagram so recruits
For
will like it.
recruiting,
Right.
yeah.
Sean Payton, that's why I like him. I mean, he's like coach part renegade, and
Does
he's...
Sean Payton technically compete with Golden Tate, or is that...
I don't think so.
It wasn't a touchdown.
No, I was disappointed with player celebrations.
There was nothing.
I know. It shows you everybody was kind of focused on playoff football
And not
What a
choreography.
bunch of losers.
Losers.
No, but about a lot of Saints fans got very upset at me for saying that they over-celebrated and that they were saying we just swept the Panthers. This was more than just one playoff win. It was 3 games. And I said, that's not my point. You can celebrate all you want. I'm just saying that I'm a firm believer that when athletes celebrate, a little bit of edge comes out.
Yeah.
And you're facing the Vikings, who are not going to take you lightly.
Right.
And that was my only point.
Yeah, I get
it wasn't
that.
about
That's-
whether you can celebrate or not. I just,
No, that's a just point. There's teams that do. You're right. Celebrate too hard, they
Belichick
lose
ain't
sight.
celebrating.
Not like that. But this is a different animal with Sean Payton. He kind of coaches his guys to be like that. Live on the edge, both sides. He doesn't care what they're doing when they walk out of that locker room. Go have fun as long as you're ready to come back and work tomorrow.
We are going to do now Sims's game notes. I have seen his cursive, and there's a chance that I might post this online, your notes, and let people just take a look at them.
No one can read it anyway, so
Exactly.
it doesn't matter.
Let's start with the Saints-Panthers one.
Okay.
You wrote, Saints are just like the Patriots. When they go big on offense, be ready for play action, and the Panthers were ready. That seems to be your theme. The Panthers were ready for everything. They've seen it twice.
They really were. And there's just so much that goes into, of course, the football game and the game planning. But to be able to see a team on film for, 3 times while you study them for a week, and then also to see and get a feel for body language. That happens. I can't stress to people enough sometimes because I think about this and I probably don't talk about this enough. The things I was capable of when I played quarterback and then my memory and the little things I saw during a game. I'm going to get back to that point, but regardless, the Carolina Panthers, they knew, they want to get big. This is when they like to take their shots. And they played safe coverages behind it for the most part of the game and didn't let that happen. So that was phenomenal. My other point, just real quick about that, what I was saying.
I was just going to say, how much does that benefit Minnesota to see that?
I think there's probably going to be a correlation there, certainly. Carolina and Minnesota have similarities to their scheme in general, other than that Minnesota can just play man-to-man better. But
they got the secondary to do
it. It is that's what's crazy about when you play a team more than once or twice or 3 times, whatever it may be. You really, I guess because your emotions are high, you're intense, just everything about the environment you're in, you're on full alert, right? There's 70,000 people watching you, so of course that's going to make your awareness and alert go up. And then of course the 280-pound guys that are coming to tear your head off make you even go up even farther. And I could just remember back thinking about seeing a D end or a D tackle lean right before I'm going to snap the ball. Just like the squat, you couldn't even see it on film, but I knew, he's going to go to the outside gap and here comes that blitz. Or a safety 30 yards down the middle of the field, and I promise you I would drop back and be like, I can literally see his eyes. I know where he might be standing here, but he's looking over there. And I'm 30 yards away, and I'm reading the play, but also I saw his eyes to know to the next day where the coach would go, the safety was there. How'd you throw the ball? And I'd be like, his eyes were looking at the other receiver.
He
was
that
there,
guy
right?
So many times,
whatever it may be. And I think that's what I'm not saying. Of course, I was not great, but I think the great ones are really good at that. I mean, where they can just truly you ever hear Peyton Manning in a post-game press conference? I mean, holy fuck.
He can recall every
play. Oh, this guy hit his right finger by his right nose on 3rd and 7, and then he breathed twice. I mean, he could tell you the whole game.
Yeah. Let's stay with the Saints on offense. You said the Saints' play-action passes are incredible, especially when you have Ginn, but Brees can't just launch it like every other quarterback. Right. You also said the Saints' drop-back pass game is simpler than ever, and that's probably why Brees is throwing at 71%.
I do think so. And I don't want to. It's still a great offense and great passing scheme, but I think a look at that.
Simple doesn't mean bad.
No, it does not mean bad, and it's the right approach for this football team. Yes, his completion percentage is amazing because he's got great talent and he's extremely accurate and knows where to go to the ball. But also, their ability to run the ball gives them optimal looks for passing the football. And because of that, I just feel like throughout the year, I've gone away from a lot of Saints films and gone, I don't want to say I'm underwhelmed by Sean Payton, but I'm always looking like Sean Payton, McVay, Shanahan.
He's an innovator.
What's the new cool thing he had in the drop back pass game this week? Every week this year, I was kind of, it's just basic Sean Payton stuff. But it's because he didn't have to dive into the archives or go crazy or call a play that he felt like, man, I'm a little uncomfortable with this. We don't always execute it the right way. In years past, he had to call those plays because they needed to win a game 41-38.
Right.
This time around, they can go, well, you know what? I'm just going to run slant flat, and Drew's going to throw the slant. We're going to get 8 yards, and we'll see what happens next play. And I think it's a part of why he's throwing for the record completion percentage.
You said Thomas Davis was awesome the entire game.
Holy cow.
And you said the Panthers went double B gap a few times and put back DTs in the A gap.
They did.
So what does that mean?
They did, the double A gap Minnesota look, right?
Right. Like two linebackers right in the A gap?
Right. But they did the two D tackles in the gap. They were on their,
so
3-point
two D
stance.
tackles in the A gap.
In the A gap. So they were on both sides of the center, and then they put the linebackers in the B gap to stand up. It was a little different look. I'd never really seen them do that.
How'd it do?
It did well. And I was going and I think I wrote question marks, why? The only things I could think of is they were just scared of Davis and Kuechly getting caught inside, knowing that Sean Payton's very smart.
Go to the
He'll find a
outside,
screen,
leave him in the
a
wash.
bunch crunch, try to run where everybody gets smushed inside. So he figured, you know what? I'll let those guys go there, and then it frees Davis and Kuechly up to have to get to the sideline if they need be. I thought it was nice. I'll be interested to see if Minnesota copies it a little.
Well, they are the kings of the double A.
That's exactly right.
Staple.
Right.
You said the Saints defense had no respect for the Panthers passing game.
None.
You wrote, I don't need to watch film to know Cam was the best player on field Sunday. But then you also wrote Cam holy fuck 4 times.
I mean, Cam holy fuck. That's all the way I could say it. I mean, if they had one receiver, they're going to win the game. They don't have a guy that he can. He was phenomenal. I would argue it's one of the best games he's ever played in his career. He was under pressure, and other than 2 or 3 completions, people were grossly covered throughout the game, and he just jammed it on them. Just 105 outside corner, eat shit. Oh, you covered it, great. I just thought it was a phenomenal game, and yeah, I was really impressed with Cam this year. I know it's not going to look great stats, but I really think he got better as a quarterback.
You also wrote, and I don't know if I wrote this right, arches and F angles gave Saints issues.
Yes, it did. So
what's that?
It's a concept. It's a concept like the Cowboys are more famous for. Norv Turner, actually, they was with the play call. It would be 525 F angle, right? That was the old play. But so for all those listening or you guys out there, what it basically is it can be a bunch set or any type of 3 receiver set, but one guy runs the shallow cross. The second guy kind of acts like he might bend out and run a 5-yard and then follows and runs like a slant route.
Right.
And then the outside guy, you could do whatever you want. Sometimes he runs a go.
valve.
Sometimes he runs the out and then comes back in. He's your safety valve.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Saints had trouble passing that off a few times.
Was it the delayed crosser?
Like McCaffrey, even the touchdown. It was a similar type of thing.
Did someone go in front of McCaffrey?
It was the tight end went, and then he came out of the backfield and followed him that same way.
Damn.
I'll be interested to see if that shows
They
itself.
could do that with Jerick McKinnon.
No doubt about it. That was the first thing I thought of.
All right, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go to the first game of the weekend, which was Chiefs and Titans. We'll start off with the Titans offense.
Okay.
Chris Jones is the best defensive player in the game.
Yep.
KC coverage is never sound. Someone is always out of position.
Yeah.
On long Henry run, perfect look for play called. What the fuck are the Chiefs doing playing a defense you would play on 3rd and 4?
Yeah.
So this is like the 60-yard Derrick Henry touchdown?
Yeah, yes, it was like the 35-yarder, right?
Yeah. So what did you mean by that?
Well, I just don't understand the play call. They played a defense and a scheme to where it's 3rd and 8, and they're going to drop back to pass. And it was, what did I say the down was there? It was
3rd and 4, but it was 2nd and something?
Yeah, it was exactly. It was a defense you would call for a 3rd down situation, right? We're going to blitz and we're going to confuse the quarterback and we're going to get the ball out of his hand, or he's going to be confused and we're going to sack and we'll get off the field. But it was 2nd down, and it's the Tennessee Titans. And the first thing they want to do is run the football. So they called the blitz, and it was just the absolute perfect run call with the blitz. There was no way they were going to be able to defend it. The seas parted, and, of course, once he gets going, there's not a lot of people in the game that can catch him. I mean, he can really go.
And then you wrote, Kansas City played way too much man-to-man down the stretch.
Way too much man-to-man. I mean, I don't even...
How many times do we need to watch Belichick rush 3 and drop 8?
Yes, I know. They do that, too, at times. That's what I was...
They did it early in the game.
They did it a lot of early in the game, and I love it. It's what they've been doing, really, the last 4 or 5 games of the year, which I've liked, even though I say it's not sound always, but at least they've been dropping people back to where it makes the quarterback hold the ball. They go, man, there's not a lot of passing lanes here, all those type of things. Yeah, I don't know what their reasoning... I'm sure they were a little scared of the run game and the way it was going. Chris Jones being out was a huge part of that football game. Do not underestimate that. When you lose your best player, And he was their best player. He was unblockable before he got healthy.
You were saying he was a young Fletcher Cox.
Right. I really think he has that type of capabilities. And when he got hurt the first play of the second half, I mean, there's a reason that Tennessee gashed them from that point on.
Let's go now to the Chiefs offense. Let me go to some of the goods for the Titans defense because there's a lot of things that concern you. Yeah. You wrote Austin Johnson on the Titans is a beast.
Yes.
So that's one guy that you really like.
Yes, I know. I'm dying to talk. Yes, I do. Go ahead. Sorry.
94. No, you're fine.
Yep.
But then you also had a little knock against Alex Smith.
Right.
You said 22-21, third down. This is the end of the game on the game-trying jive.
Yeah.
First read not open, eyes go down, panics and runs.
Right.
What the fuck? Had all the time in the world. He could have baked a cake, eaten it, drank some milk, and then thrown the ball.
This was in the notebook?
This was in the notebook. That's why Mahomes is there. Alex is so bad in the pocket.
Yes. Man, it's again, I don't want to sit here and just crap on Alex Smith. He does a lot of good things. But really, if he just gave you the brief synopsis of the game, it's this. The game started off great. Everybody was open. The first guy he looked at was open. And yes, he had some drops. I get that because everybody was.
Tyreek Hill was dropping a lot.
They got a first down after every one of those drops. So it had no effect on the game at all. Zero. None. Okay? If anything, I would say the Titans had drops that were more affecting their game. Decker dropping those footballs.
Yes, right in the face.
They affected the game more than the Tyreek Hill drops that they got a first down with the next play. But regardless, Smith, hey, when things were working great, Kelsey's open down the middle, Tyreek Hill. Sure, yeah, he hit them, and that's great, and I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But as soon as the easiness of that got taken away, the first read got away, he looks to run. And he doesn't want to just stand in the pocket and stay there in a good position like you'd see a Brady or a Rodgers just sit there and go, okay, I'm going to wait for the second guy. Here he comes. Bam, I'm going to put it on him. No, it's first guy's not open. Let me look to see who's around me, and let me get out of the pocket.
I mean, that's what was happening to Jalen Hurd in the championship game.
It's like that at times. And he does leave the pocket when people are open, the second and third read. And, yes, again, we've seen this story before. I don't mean to just bag on Alex Smith, but this is the reason Mahomes was drafted. This is it. I mean, whether it's the playoff game last year against the Steelers. We talked about it the next day. We'd watch the film. Everybody was open.
You were just pointing out wide open guys that he just
didn't want to throw it to.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not saying everybody was wide open, but I'm just saying he can't make the 4 or 5 plays to get you over the hump in these type of games
that you need.
That Matt Ryan did against the Rams, let's say.
So here are the things that scared you because you were just talking about how the Chiefs had wide open receivers.
Right.
So you said the Titans sold out to stop the run early and that their zone is a true zone. You wrote they need to dare the Patriots to run and to call their bluff.
Oh, good.
But the problem is they're asking people to do too much. They're asking Avery Williamson, hey, quote, be responsible for the B gap and cover Gronk one-on-one. Okay, good luck, stupid shit.
Right.
And you wrote, do what Pats do, fuck me.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it means like, it doesn't mean literally fuck me. It means, I wish, why don't people copy New England more? I don't, how many Super Bowls do they have to win to go, you know what, we're going to try that defense out? I mean, they have to win every fucking Super Bowl before we finally come to that realization? Yes. Okay, they have 3 big mothers in the middle, okay? Those guys, Casey, Sylvester Williams, Austin Johnson, they're good. It's as good as 3 of big people as you're going to get on a team. I mean, it's up there. So, to me,
you don't need to sell out to stop the run.
No, they were better when they stopped Kansas City when they started just playing zone defenses and Dick LeBeau's coaching took over and go, when they get in this formation, they like to throw to this area, drop to this area. Right. Okay, an occasional man and blitz to keep them off balance. That's when they were at their best. But yes, LeBeau, Johnny Old School, right? Which is you hear about all the old school coaches. We're going to stop the run first.
Make them one-dimensional.
Right. Well, fuck, it's 2017. Fuck the run. Stop the pass and then show me that they can run. That's the opposite this day and age. Belichick has figured that out.
You do this every year.
I know.
We go just force the Patriots to run and see if they'll stick with it.
So they literally were like, we're going to stop Kareem Hunt.
Which I kind of get.
I get it. I do. I totally get it. But it is also Andy Reid and the Chiefs, and they have a long history of not being patient with the run.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, my thing about Avery Williamson on the Kelsey touchdown pass, because I heard people like, they're blowing assignments. No, they're not blowing assignments. They ask their guys to do things that are not reasonable to ask a player to do. I don't care who he is. But, yes, do what New England does. Can somebody in a playoff game just prove to me that the New England Patriots will run the ball 20, 25, 30 times? I mean, in a game where it's actually competitive, not like the Colts AFC Championship game a few years ago when they were up like 40-7 and then ran the ball to run the clock out. I'm talking about I want to see if someone can make Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and Josh McDaniels go, fuck me. They are dropping back to take away the pass, and they don't give a damn if we run it. We're going to have to run it 30 times in a playoff game. Nobody's ever done it, and this is a team that can do it. They have 3 monsters in the middle. Just put them over the 2 guards in the center and say, prove it to me that you'll stay patient with the run. Because New England wants to throw it. They want to throw it to Gronk. Brady wants to throw it. That's what they trust. That's how they've won. Somebody, please, do it. Please. I'm so sick of it.
Help us.
Let's go to the Rams-Falcons game. Rams on offense, you wrote, field was horrible. And I argue that it hurts the Rams more. Right. Gurley is the only guy in the stadium that can go 80, and he can't cut or put his foot in the ground without falling. Man, I forgot how average Goff was in the first half. Woo. And then you wrote a little note and wrote, that was average for the whole game. And then you said the Falcons changed up coverage on third downs a few times, and you liked the D in the first half, except for these dumb 5-man pressures, which was the theme of
the
your
weekend.
Notes.
Theme of the weekend. More 5. Oh, we're going to get 5 one-on-ones against, Drew Brees and Matt Ryan. They're not going to know what to do.
You think a 5-man blitz is the dumbest decision in football?
It's one of the dumbest things.
You either go 6 or you bring 4.
Right. I mean, yes, exactly. Or bring 3. I would even rather that. But the 5-man is just a waste. Every team in football can pick up the 5-man pressure, and quarterbacks are smart enough to know, I got one-on-ones, and yes, I know it's 5 one-on-one blockers, and I know I got to be ready to get the ball out of my hand, but you're really bailing the quarterback out more times than not because it's a 5-man pressure zone blitz. Well, there's a lot of holes in that zone because you've taken one less player to fill the zone. Okay, it's a 5-man pressure and there's man-to-man. Well, fuck, you're bailing the quarterback out there too because he's going to find one-on-one matchup with the passing game where he's going to go, that guy can't cover my guy one-on-one. Right. I'm going to throw it to him or a back shoulder, whatever it may be. So, yes, that was a theme of the weekend from a lot of teams.
But Jared Goff was average.
Jared Goff was very average. He really did. He was one of the worst games he played this year.
Yeah.
He did nothing. And I would say this, I'm not trying to, Jared Goff is good and he's going to continue to be good, but I'm still not ready to say he's going to be a superstar quarterback. I don't care because what really happened is they took away their bullshit normal.
And the screens.
You
said the speed took away the screens.
The screens were gone. So
shout out to Deion Jones.
Right. There's 5 completions for 90 yards, right, that he usually has on his stat line that were taken away, and that made things hard. But the Falcons of the changing of the defense really, really liked it. To me,
this is what Dan Quinn did in the Super Bowl.
I know, and he got away from the second half and got conservative. But yes, he did, and it's exactly what I thought of. And I thought, damn, they know McVay was going to watch that Shanahan Jaguars film and see if he could steal a few plays because they tried to make it look like the normal defense. They looked
what did they
like
play? So it wasn't just the cover 3.
It wasn't the cover 3. They lined up in the cover 3 press bail, and McVay had plays called to expose that, the old second man throw.
And what did they actually play?
They would, at the last second, Neal would run out, and they would play cover 2 or 2-man or quarter, half, and they changed it up, and then Goff dropped back, and he was like, oh, shit. Nobody's open. Our play was called kind of for this defense.
Man.
So that was very good by Dan Quinn.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Falcons offense, Rams defense. You wrote Rams defense kicking the shit out of the Falcons.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald and Robert Quinn are unblockable.
Right.
Second half, third down screen to Coleman was huge.
Huge.
Still not in love with anything in the Falcons game plan, but fucking A. They always play hard and compete and have good players. Matt Ryan was the difference in this game, and Sarkisian had 2 awesome screen calls on third down, huge plays. It was the same screen.
Yes, it was. Same screen, great timing of them. It shows you that he had great preparation and the fact that he had a good feel for what the Rams might do in some of those third down situations. So I always give respect to the play caller there. The offense, yes, it still just calls plays, and they just hope, hey, we got playmakers, and hopefully somebody will make a play. I will stand by this 100 times. The Rams were the better football team on the field. The Rams won the physical war. The Farrell Cooper fumbles were killers, and then added to the fact that third down, that was a 3rd and 10, Ogletree one-on-one and Tevin Coleman. That was the 16-play drive that they ended up getting a field goal. That really was
that was the 8-minute drive to start the second half?
Exactly right. That was that
and
drive.
Ogletree just didn't make the tackle.
No, he was there, and he just missed it. There's no other way to say it. And that was, to me, the biggest turning point in the game because the Rams defense I felt was like kind of tired going into that drive.
And then
that was like, oh, shit, we've been on the field way too long.
Right. All right, so you left very impressed with Matt Ryan and Deion Jones.
I would argue that Matt Ryan's had a better year this year than last year.
Yeah, you talked about that on Monday.
Yeah, I really would. I mean, he's made more physical, gifted plays, and he's just winning. He's just going, fuck, I'll make this play. We got to win. And I have respect for that.
Last one, Jaguars offense, Bills defense. Oh, this is fun. Bills, for the most part, playing three-man press bail, 7 or 8 guys in the box, and just didn't let wide receivers get behind the cornerbacks. Bills said no to shallow crossers and screen. Is the Bills' defensive philosophy tougher for the Jaguars than the Steelers? Interesting. Jags have to run on the edge more, can't always go up in the middle. I still think Fournette is hesitant to cut on his right leg, and Tre'Davious White dropping that interception was a game changer, caught everything all year.
Yes.
Which one do you want to focus on? Jags have to go to the edge, Fournette not being able to cut, or the Bills' defensive philosophy tougher on the Jaguars than maybe the Steelers?
Leave that last, the last part. The Fournette thing, I've made some calls too. Fournette's beat up. He does. He's got issues. It's more than just that. It's a few other lower body issues too. So I do think there's maybe a little more there than we're like. But yes, I watch Fournette. He's not the same guy as early in the year. You know that. I know that. We're all watching.
Yeah. He's
still really good. He cannot really totally cut off that right leg. I think he makes a lot of left leg cuts even when he wants to go left, which is not normal. But they can't just smash him up in the middle every time. They got to find a few more creative runs on the edge. I mean, their biggest runs were him on the
outside.
Edge. Right. And
back-to-back runs on the right.
Exactly. So, and I've said that a few times in my notes throughout the year. They've got to do that just a little bit more to keep teams off balance. Now, getting to the other thing with the defense.
Bills' defensive philosophy. We said this before the game.
We did.
That the Bills sit back and make you play in front of them
right.
and can kind of feast on your mistakes.
Right.
What do the Steelers do that makes it easier for Bortles than the Bills?
Okay, so this would be my 2 cents. And not to say that this is total 100% correct, but I just think it's a broad evaluation of what I would think here. The Bills, McDermott, they watch film and they go, they do this and this, we're going to take it away, right? That's the kind of
the Belichick model.
Right. It's the kind of that's their defensive approach. Oh, he likes to throw shallow crosses and screens. That's their most successful play. Well, screw that. That's the one thing we're not going to let them do. We're going to be all over that crap and then see if they can beat us with some of their B and C and D plus type of plays.
The ones they don't practice as much.
Right. Pittsburgh, their philosophy is a little different. Pittsburgh doesn't necessarily, they're going to know players you like to go to, but Pittsburgh's theme is this. It's more like we're going to do this crazy creative stuff, and we're going to see if you can handle it and react to it, and to see what kind of game plan you can come up to mess with us. We're going to be the enforcers of the tempo of this game.
What's funny is Bortles they're not reacting. Bortles is like, well, I like to throw the outcut here.
Yeah, yes, but I'm just saying what can happen is Pittsburgh can go for the jugular at times where they're going to go, we know this stuff. We know what they're going to do. I'm going to bring 5 weak and we're going to sack fumble a Bortles, or we're going to make it 3rd and 20. And what happens within that sometimes when you go for the kill like that, 2 guys get stuck in the same gap and all of a sudden a run goes up the middle for 40 yards, or somebody messes up or slips in coverage and
they call the right screen at the right time.
Or they call the right shallow cross and you had the 2 linebackers blitzing that way and now the shallow cross is wide open. You go, damn, how do you get that open? Well, that's just the difference in philosophies. I mean, not saying that Pittsburgh won't break them down and go, oh, we know this is what they like to do.
Yeah.
But they're more the enforcers where, Buffalo's more of like, we're going to take away your staples, and we're going to execute, and we don't think you can execute.
You wrote, the Bills, the bootlegs are the only thing they stole from the 49ers to face the Jags, and the Jaguars are all over it. It's funny.
It's comical. I mean, they had so many people at times that want to be like, damn, you got 6 people guarding 2. Like, somebody go up and tackle Tyrod Taylor. Stop letting him draw this play out to the sideline as he keeps running.
Yeah.
Again, it was just a perfect example of, I even got mad at Romo during the game because he said that. Like, they took boots against San Francisco. Boots were like part of the plan because he had, Kyle had already mental fucked Jacksonville with 9 other things that they were worried about. To then they said, "Oh shit, we got to worry about the boots too."
Right.
Damn, and they came into the game going, well, they struggled against the boots a few weeks ago. They won't be ready for this one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You said Ramsey and Bouye are very good tacklers. You said Marcel Darius and Avery Jones were great.
Great.
I thought Avery Jones was fantastic.
Yes,
I went,
he was.
oh, he's the second line guy.
Right, and Marcel, no, he starts.
Yeah, he does start.
And then Marcel starts. That's what I'm going to be interested. When they put Calais,
Marcel and Avery.
they go Marcel and Avery at D tackle, and they go Malik and Calais Campbell
Holy
at DN.
crap.
Right, and Jacksonville, I thought, played more. You know how I've always said they stunt
You said
too
they
much.
played straight up.
They played more straight up, which is going to be big for this week. Because if they think they're going to do like slants and stunts against Le'Veon Bell, then they're going to get run on.
And you wrote 2 things that scared you about the Steelers. Jags running cover 4. Why are the Jags playing cover 4? You better watch that shit versus Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And you also wrote almost every big run for the Bills was at the bubble.
That was the other Kyle thing.
Steelers likey.
Yeah, Steelers.
So start with the cover 4.
Well,
Steelers like you.
Cover 4 for any good throwing, aggressive downfield quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger, it just presents itself to have tremendous opportunities to take shots
For
down the
one-on-one.
field. One-on-one. The safeties in cover 4, really their first 2 steps are taught to come downhill to stop the run, right? Where
So you could have like a Bouye versus Martavis Bryant 50-50 ball.
Exactly right. So there you are now. You got Jalen Ramsey. Maybe he misses the jam or Bouye misses the jam at the line of scrimmage. Now they're stuck on the outside of the receiver. Ben runs a play action fake. The safeties came up. Now there's nobody in the middle of the field. 40 yards down the field. So I don't care who you are. Deion Sanders covering Josh Fendrick. It's going to be hard with all that room, even though he'd probably get it done and knock it down. But yes, that would be something I would watch out for.
And then running the bubble is where the defensive tackle is.
Right, the
not
bubble,
the
I know.
nose,
I know, the
other
bubble
down.
screws people up all
Because
the time.
the bubble sounds like a hole.
Yes.
But it's not a hole.
No, the bubble is the fact that there's nobody on the guard, right? Because it's to the side of the shade nose tackle. The nose tackle's edged on, like, let's say the left shoulder of the center. Then there's nobody over the guard. And he has nobody over him on the gap to his
So
left
you're
either.
running at the shade nose pretty much.
You're running at the shade
and that's
nose.
where the runs were for
all their
LaShawn?
big runs, and that's what happened against San
Had
Francisco
no one
too.
done that before San Francisco?
Not as much. This was
Because you're kind of taught to run away from the nose tackle.
Well, yeah, and that, and I think the thing that's happened with Jacksonville too is just teams have finally just gone, well, at least this gives us a chance against these guys, because what you do is at least get a center guard double team on that shade nose, and then a lot of times what happens is the guard now can get off of that block because he can go, oh, I helped you, center. Now, center, you block him, and then I'll get up to the linebacker and do things like that to where it gives them a chance.
Speaking of offensive line, update from the BR app saying that the Seahawks are parting ways with Tom Cable.
There we go. Erase that last segment.
Tom Cable's not going to be the OC.
I don't.
for
How
Seattle.
could he have been?
Big changes.
Yeah, big changes. I just would have been shocked. Like, what? They haven't blocked anybody in 3 years, but we're going to make him the offensive coordinator.
It is time for iTunes, but there's something big happening via Instagram and my DMs. I just got this today, and I've never been more excited for my life. This is from Thomas_White14. Adam, first off, want to say love the podcast, and Sims and yourself are underrated, should be on TV. Don't need TV. We're on the internet. Love the work you all do. However, as the mush, me and my fiance are expecting a child in September. I need you to use your mush powers to tell me what I'm having. If you say boy, we're probably going to have a girl. And if you say girl, it's going to be a boy. There's a lot riding on this. We'll be listening in. Much love from West Virginia. You and Sims are the fucking best.
Sims
Thomas.
and Lefkoe gender reveals.
Can we get a picture of the belly?
I'm getting a picture right now. This is going to be of the couple. This looks like them right here.
Go make your first reading first, so you can. No, you tell us what you think it's going to be first.
All right, so I'm looking right now. Here's a picture of them by a waterfall. And he first comments, I don't understand what I've done to have this girl in my life. I am going to, so hold on, so if I say girl, it ends up being a boy, it's a boy, it's a girl. I believe that they're going to have a girl.
Really?
Wow, you really want him to have a boy, huh, this guy?
All right, so.
Maybe he wants a girl. Maybe you're wrong.
Here you go.
Let me see.
That's them by the waterfall. What do you think, Sims? Are they having a boy or a girl?
Well, I wish I could see the baby bump because don't they always say there's like something to the bump, right? Right? If it's like a little lower, it's a girl.
Is that what they say?
They do. There is like
know.
a philosophy there that like there's a different holding of boy
That's
and
good
girl.
to know.
Right.
I'll keep that in mind.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
I got no baby bumps.
They look like a boy. It looks like a boy couple to me. I don't know why I'm saying
So that means we agree.
Yeah. Well, I'm right.
Wink, wink. All right, so I believe it's a girl. Wink, wink. And Sims believes it's a boy.
Yep.
What do you think, Fendrick?
I'll side with the mush. I'll say it's going to be a girl.
To old Thomasina. That's exciting. I never had to do a gender reveal.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Good segment.
You're
I like
having-
that.
You're having a girl.
Any more pregnant fans? Lefkoe
Yeah.
can predict for you.
That's my job. I'll reverse predict what you're going to have. All right, let's go to iTunes. First one up, best part of my week, Jay Rayback. Hey, guys, lifetime Jags fan
Hey.
out here in Ohio. Love the pod. The NFL weekend recaps. I've got my week going smooth. Sims, question for you. This past weekend, after this past weekend, can you name the 4 quarterbacks in the past 30 years that have won a playoff game with less than 100 yards passing? Also, do you believe the Jags will draft a quality quarterback at the end of the first round? Lefkoe, sorry about Carson Wentz.
Oh,
thank you,
That
Jay
was very
Rayback.
nice of him. I think that they will sign Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
That would be my guess. And then
Quarterbacks that have won a playoff game
Less
less
than
than
100
yards. I looked it up on Pro Football Reference.
and we're not counting Bortles.
And I have 4. So 4 other than Bortles.
Okay. I got to believe Trent Dilfer.
Nope.
Darn it. Jim McMahon?
Nope. So the ones that I came up with,
Yeah.
that I found, 2010 against San Diego. Who would have done that?
2010 against, that was the Jets, right? Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
That was the Miss Cromartie tackle, and then he ended up on the Jets the next year.
2005 against the Rams.
2005, playoff game against the Rams. Wait, hold on. I was in these playoffs, so hold on a second here.
No, you were in the 06 playoffs.
Oh, well, yeah, see, that's wrong. It's 05 is 05.
Okay, so then 04 playoffs against the Rams.
04 playoffs against the Rams. Okay, that was,
He's known for running.
it was Atlanta?
Mike Vick.
It was, huh?
Uh,
I don't remember
2000.
that game. Yeah. 2000. That would have been the year the Oh, no, that was not. That was the next year. 2000.
99.
It was the 99 season. He's just a stupid mother. Let's see. 99 season. You're just going to tell me 2000? You're not going to,
Against the team that it just happened to.
Oh, it was against the Bills. The Tennessee Titans? McNair?
There you go. So you have to say the name. I'm not just going to
You
give it
can't
to
say
you.
the team.
But damn, they didn't really
That was
move
the
the ball.
yeah.
That was the Music City Miracle.
And then there's one other one in the 05 season.
Wow, another one in the
Yeah.
05 season. 05 season.
So this was Sims playoffs.
This is Sims's
Oh, it's Ben Roethlisberger.
Nope. It was Mark Brunell against you
Oh
guys.
my gosh, you're right.
The playoff game that you lost, Mark Brunell did not throw for 100 yards.
Yes, this hurts me. That game. Gosh damn.
Moving on.
You blocked it out of your memory.
Fucking A. I should have remembered that. But yeah, because my first pass of the game, we were backed up at the 1 yard line. I was throwing a deep out route to Joey Galloway. He's open. I'm going to complete it. The ball got tipped in the air by a D lineman. LeVar Arrington intercepted it, returned it to the 1 yard line, fumbled, recovered. You couldn't review fumbles at that time. So that was our first fuck job of that game. The next drive, The next drive was Cadillac Williams up the middle. We're driving down the field on them. We're on the 40-yard line. Cadillac is on the ground. He fumbles, but he's in a pile of bodies. Sean Taylor picks it up, runs 60 yards for a touchdown.
And you can't challenge that either.
You can't challenge it either. And you couldn't. No, you could challenge that. The other one, he was ruled down by contact. This one, he was not. But there were so many bodies around, you couldn't see him. And so now we're down 14-0.
And then you had the challenge at the
and
end of the game.
And then we had the Adele Shepard, Calvin Johnson rule. Can you believe that game? Man, that was oof. As an athlete, when you know you're the better team and you lose, it is the worst. It never leaves.
Son of a bitch. Good stuff there.
That was
Jay
good stuff.
Rayback.
Jay Rayback.
Jinja Ninja 425, best podcast ever. I love these guys. Been listening since last offseason. Haven't missed an episode. Haven't left a review out of pure laziness, but I had to bring something up. How to fix replay. Got to put a clock on it. If a referee can't decide the call on the field was absolutely wrong in 30, 60, or even 90 seconds, there's something wrong.
I like that.
It should only take a short amount of time to either agree with your fellow referee or change the call on the field. Indisputable evidence, plain and simple.
Plain and simple. I like it. And that's perfectly fine to be lazy and not leave an iTunes review, so don't worry about that. But I think that would be actually a great way to do it. It's out of hand. It's out of hand. I love football, and I'm just saying, Wildcard Weekend was unwatchable at times. I mean, the games would never freaking end. It's a 12-minute review to see if he dragged his foot in. Like, get the hell out of here. We have to change this. We're trying to appeal to a young audience of millennials who look at 9 different things at the same time. You have a 10-minute review, it's never going to be good.
DPEG23 is proving to everybody.
What did he show you?
He was just showing me how long we've been because he's obsessed.
It's long. Yeah.
DPEG23 showing us how hard wildcard predictions are. He says, look, I've learned a lot. I'd like to compare, and if I beat you guys, I'd like to be on the show. Well, he didn't beat us. He had the Saints beating the Panthers 27-21. He had the Rams beating the Falcons. He had the Chiefs beating the Titans. And he had the Jaguars beating the Bills by 14.
So he went 2-2, just like me.
DPEG23, I appreciate you. I love you a lot. But now you know how hard it is to predict games.
It is hard.
It is not easy.
Yep.
This is F. This is about the Seahawks. Dylan Postma. Question for Sims. Love the show. Screw that mainstream crap. You guys bring the truth. I also love the show with Papa Phil and how he always refers to Sims as Christopher. You should start calling him that. My question for Christopher. What should the
You're allowed to. I don't let everybody call me Christopher.
Yeah. What should the Seahawks' first priority be in rebuilding? Who on the D should they keep and who should they trade?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. Gosh, they definitely have to rebuild. We know that. They certainly, just a broad look, I mean, need another offensive lineman or two on that side of the ball. They're going to have to get a little bit younger on the defensive line as well. Not that they need a lot of pieces there. I mean, Sheldon Richardson's certainly still there. Frank Clark, they're going to be good staples. But you are coming to the end of the Michael Bennett era and Cliff Averill. So they need
have a lot of holes.
They need
wide receivers.
Right. I would be interested to see, I mean, Cam Chancellor, it doesn't sound like he's ever going to play again. Averill doesn't sound like that's going to free up money for them. That's at least a good thing about that. Sherman's going to be the interesting thing, right? I mean, Achilles tear, that was about halfway through the year. I mean, he's not going to be like 100% Richard Sherman for the start of the year. He'll be starting and playing. But no, this is a team that needs a major overhaul. I don't know. We'll get into this more specifically when we get into free agency. But you need help at about, man. Not every position, really.
Crazy.
I mean, linebackers, really, them and KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner are still playing at an extremely high level.
I'll still remember when I did a video with you after the Seahawks beat the Broncos, and we said, could this become a dynasty?
Man.
Staying in the NFC West, this is
close.
Eric Easy-E, all-time greatest. Good football podcasts out there, but nothing comes close to you guys, the real white boy supremes, talking about stuff the mainstream media won't touch. How do you see the NFC West panning out next season? If you were the Niners, what position would be the most important to address in free agency? Hashtag and Jimmy G, we trust.
Yeah.
Next season, well, the Seahawks sound like they're going to have a down year. Arizona, I mean, who knows what their identity is going to be.
And they're in rebuild. Yes.
The Rams will be there. So it sounds like it's the Rams and Niners.
I'm pumped. I mean, forget that I know these guys and Kyle's my friend. I mean, I'm really legitimately pumped for this.
I would probably go Rams, Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals. Damn, I'm not going to put – I can't know if I can put the Seahawks that low. I might go Rams, Seahawks. I don't know.
I probably just
I want to see their offseasons.
I would probably go Rams, Niners, Seahawks too. Just right now, if we had a pick, I would say, yeah, that's the way it's going to be. I have more faith in the two guys running the show with the Rams and the Niners right now than, hey, Seattle can't be king forever.
Yeah. What position would you address the most if you're the Niners?
Man, they definitely need offensive line help. Now the tackles are okay, but two guard center, that's an issue. Man, again, this is another team that they have a ton of money. They need a lot of things, okay? I would argue, even though their D-line's got a lot of good pieces, they need a legit pass rusher, like a real pass rusher, like to literally come off the edge. They don't really have that guy. Solomon Thomas is not going to be that guy. He's going to be more Michael Bennett, right, like we always talk about.
Secondary guys.
Right. Secondary for sure. Yeah. I mean, they need corners. They need another linebacker to go along with Reuben Foster. they are going to be able to make a huge overhaul of their team because
they got the money too.
I think they got like $80 million.
We'll see how much they give to Jimmy G. This guy,
I would be shocked if he doesn't get a marquee receiver. I'm just telling you, just knowing the Kyle Shanahan.
It's a great year for free agent wide receivers that fit Kyle's mold. When
Is
you
it?
look at it, there's like you forget about like the John Browns and the
Right.
Who's the guy in Atlanta, the streaker?
Gabriel.
Yeah, Taylor Gabriel. There's
Right.
a lot of guys that aren't the marquee names,
Right.
but then you also have the Landrys. You also have the Allen Robinsons, depending on
Yeah.
his health, that are also there.
Don't-
Devontae Adams.
Right. Well, yeah. He's not anymore. They signed him.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, but those guys, I know I wrote that in my notes. Like the Marquise Goodwins, the Ted Gins of the world.
They're undervalued.
They are undervalued. There is a great value to it. Trust me, when people play the Saints and Ted Ginn lines up in the snap, I can promise you it lines up close to the formation. I can promise you those safeties are not going to come down aggressively in the run game. They're going to go, fuck me, Teddy Ginn's going to be on me in 3
He's gonna
steps,
put
and
me
can I
on
run with
ESPN.
him? Right.
So this guy, Trent VK, hit us up about the Matt Patricia to the Lions, which now apparently is going to the Giants. But I guess if he were to have gone to the Lions, what would be your expectations for year one?
I mean, I would expect them to be very close to where they are right now. It's going to be
playoff team.
Yeah, they are, and I would say. I would really, what I'm interested in, and I don't really know this, is who Matty P would bring in as his OC. That's what I would really be interested to see where he goes there. I don't know if he'd bring somebody from New England with him.
No, he's Jim Bob Cooter.
I guess so. If he goes there, he's going to have Jim Bob Cooter.
That's what it sounds like.
But the one thing you'll see from a Matty P, maybe compared to a Terrell Austin, just a more, I love Terrell Austin, and anybody that's listening to this podcast knows that. The Matty P, though, will just be more creative in the week-to-week game plans. He will do things that you go, man, we didn't see this on film the last 4 weeks, but they've done this to us to take away this area, and that's where the beauty of New England comes along.
Steve Anzavino asking a question about Jim Caldwell, speaking of the Lions, saying any chance he goes back to the Ravens, works on their offense?
Well, I would not be shocked to work with Marty there again because they're keeping Marty. Jim Caldwell, he'll find a way. He's well respected and a much better coach than he gets credit for. Yeah, that'd be a good question too. Like, where does he go? Does he end up being an OC? Is he going to be an assistant head coach? I mean, he's going to be one of those two things.
Enrod, this is the last one, 2013, in the comment section, wrote his guesses for starting quarterback for every team in the NFL. The ones that I highlighted. He thinks that the Giants quarterback next year will be Josh Rosen. He thinks the Cardinals quarterback next year will be Case Keenum. He says the Vikings will have Teddy. The Bills will have Sam Bradford. The Jets will start Baker Mayfield. The Browns will start Sam Darnold. The Jaguars will start Eli Manning or Tyrod Taylor, depending if Eli Manning signs elsewhere. Any of those stick out to you?
He had the Redskins. I will be shocked if Eli Manning ends up anywhere else.
Kirk Cousins in the Washington.
Kirk Cousins staying. I will be shocked if Eli Manning plays for anybody else other than the Giants. Like I've told you, I'm not trying to take a shot on Eli. I just have a hard time thinking a team's going to watch film with the Giants and Eli Manning and go, we need him. I just don't see it. Sorry.
There's one team
yeah,
that maybe isn't that great at looking at film and understanding the style of their quarterback, and that would be the Jaguars.
Well, yeah, I do. I think the Jaguars know.
around.
Well, I know. I think the Jaguars know who they are now, though. I do that. And the other thing, the Minnesota thing will be interesting. I mean, because there is a true love affair up there with Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, a love affair. The weirdest thing I've ever seen. I mean, if they chopped off one of his legs, I still think they'd try to make an excuse to make him the starting quarterback. I mean, that's how much they love him.
The only thing I can add to that, having covered Teddy for 3 years in Louisville,
I know he's got an amazing, charismatic personality.
The way people have always talked about Teddy
right.
is he's incredible.
Right, and I'm sure he is.
Good to know that your dad, he's got your back with Tony Boselli.
He sounded like he was getting like a little like, so wait, did he say that?
So should I come down there and pick you up from school? All right, so we are going to be doing our bets on the betting show for divisional round playoffs. Sims took a bath last week, but he gets $1,600 new dollars, and so do I to
can't
try and
catch you
compete.
now, though.
No, you can.
Really?
I'm only down. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
lost 800.
Good.
So you still have a chance. That is all for now. A very long and substantial episode 148 for Sims.
Peace out, homies.
For Fendrick.
Good night, everybody.
Ooh. I am the Lefkoe.
Man.
And we love you very much. Thank you for supporting us. Always check us out on social at Sims and Lefkoe. And of course, check us out on YouTube. Just type in Sims and Lefkoe to watch the full episode. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you when we're ready to make our bets.